Canadian oil companies may find themselves in a very difficult situation. The country is rich in oil and literally sits on huge reserves of energy resources, but due to the lack of modern infrastructure, its export opportunities are limited. It would seem that you should extract oil in large volumes, supply it to international markets without hindrance, and make a stable profit. However, oil companies are already warning that they may face serious restrictions on their export opportunities. The whole problem rests on the infrastructure, or to be more precise, the logistical capabilities do not meet the export ambitions of the oil companies. Okay, Canada is rich in oil, but this oil still needs to be delivered to those who are willing to pay for it. Transportation bottlenecks and a lack of pipeline networks significantly affect international supplies. The construction of new oil pipelines is not going as fast as desired. Various approvals, environmental regulations, and many other factors strongly affect the construction time. Meanwhile, demand for oil is high and competitors from other countries are taking advantageous positions, increasing their presence on world markets. Canadian oil companies see this situation and literally feel it for themselves. It is clear that this situation needs to be changed, and therefore the leaders of the Canadian oil and gas sector are demanding urgent action from the government. On March 19, 2025, 14 CEOs of Canada's largest companies in the transportation, production, and sale of oil and natural gas published an open letter to federal authorities calling for urgent regulatory reforms to strengthen Canada's economic sovereignty in the energy sector. They warn that without this, the country risks losing competitiveness in the global market and at the same time missing billions of dollars of potential export revenue. In their letter, the oilmen stated that Canada has enormous reserves of oil and natural gas that could provide the country with resources for decades to come and turn it into one of the key sellers of oil and gas. Companies are ready to invest billions in new projects, and these are not just dry figures and reports. These are huge tax revenues, new jobs, and billions of dollars that could strengthen the country's economy. There are oil reserves, there are technologies, there is also a desire to develop, but at the same time there are issues that slow down the market and they need to be addressed. Despite the huge prospects, while other countries are actively increasing their hydrocarbon exports, Canada may miss out on enormous opportunities. The companies urge the government to create conditions for accelerated construction of export routes such as pipelines and LNG terminals. According to the authors of the letter, in the context of global instability and high energy prices, the refusal to expand energy infrastructure looks like a missed opportunity. The Canadian oil sector has already faced problems trying to implement projects for the construction of new pipelines. One of the most striking examples was the Keystone XL project, which was never implemented despite enormous efforts. But what is important is that the situation is changing now, and the initiative of the oil workers is not just a request, but an alarm signal. If we do not pay attention to the necessary infrastructure, Canada will not be able to fully take advantage of its resource advantages, and this is important for the country's economic stability. In addition, the slow pace of development of the energy sector may lead to increased dependence on fuel imports and lower investment in the Canadian economy.